And we are back with another episode of the 5 to 9 podcast. That's not good that I got that wrong. Woo! Live radio podcast, YouTube, I guess. I don't know. This is your one of your hosts, Vince Mirabelli. And with me, as always, my boy, Mike Martino. Mike, what's up, buddy?
What up, everybody? It's all good over here on this side.
Fantastic. So the 5 to 9 podcast, the 5 to 9, 5 to 9, 5 to 9. Okay, Mike, what's
three times? They get in your head.
Yeah. What's going on there, buddy? It's been a while.
Not much. I went to is it my third TFC game? So for you people that are not in Toronto, that's the Toronto Football Club. And
all right.
I was at the game last night with a friend of mine. It's my third week in a row. I went last week with my my friend Vince.
Yes.
Sitting in Vince's seats. Thank you. Front row, front row in the booster section of the TFC stadium. And I got to thinking, I'm like, soccer is like fourth on my sports list of things to watch. Just to be honest, it's like
I'll be sure to bring you to more games then, Mike.
It's like football. So sorry, MMA. So UFC, football, hockey, soccer's like fourth. So my friend said, "Soccer's fourth, dude. Have you been to like 4 games in the last 4 weeks?" And I said, "Yes." You know why? Because the experience is awesome. I love going to the TFC game. I love going because the seats are what they call the booster section. So the booster section is all the Rabid fans. I don't know. What do you think about that, Vince? Since they're your tickets, is that an accurate depiction of those fans?
They are probably the more what they would say is the passionate fans, the real fans. I do sit in that section, right in the front row, and that's why I sit there, because I'm in the front row. I am so I grew up playing the game, and so I'm more interested in the technical aspects of it. You've been there with me, Mike. I sit there and I actually enjoy watching the game and like, okay, well, here comes a goal because I can see the build up and the way that it's going. So I'm there for that. But a lot of those folks are there just to have fun and to bring that fire and that energy. And if they think that that's helping the team maybe it is, I don't know. But that's how they get involved in the game. But I'm with you. The experience is definitely different.
It's different, and you guys are probably wondering, was these guys going to talk about soccer all night? And no, we're not going to talk about soccer all night, but we are going to talk about. So what I want to bring up is, if you're going to start a 5 to 9, you can't just do what everybody else is doing. Okay, you gotta bring something different, and this is why I'm bringing the TFC into this. So here in Toronto, we have the Toronto Maple Leafs, we have the Toronto Blue Jays, the Argos, and we'll just stick with the top, like the mainstream sports, and we have the soccer
and the Raptors. Don't forget the Raptors.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I forgot the Raptors.
You gotta give love to the Raptors.
But basically, it's all the same stuff. So you got the Leafs. People go there. Most of the tickets are already sold. It's pretty boring. A lot of suits go there. It's not the real fans. They do the let go Leafs go go. Like you got Jimmy Olstrom at the Oregon. It's kind of boring. You got the Blue Jays. They're kind of exciting when you get into September, but for the most part, boring as hell. And mostly because baseball is boring. And then you got the Argos. They just suck. The Raptors are pretty good, but again, it's like the same type of feel. And I don't know if it's because the same entity owns every sports team in Toronto, which is a problem. Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, but they also own they also own TFC. But TFC is different. To me, it's completely different. Like going to a game, I start to get excited. Like I'm getting in there, get into the parking lot. I start to get excited. And remember, fourth on the list of sports that I like. It's just that the fans are into it. They let the fans be more involved. And we've talked about this, about the experience be more important than the product. And I think with the TFC, that is a shining example of there's a product, but the experience of going there, like I brought my friend there for the first time. He's like, man, this was awesome. And it was a 2-1 game. We're not talking like it was like a 6-4 game. There wasn't like 150 goals. The experience of being at a TFC game is head and shoulders above any other sports team in Toronto. And to me, if you're going to start a 5-9, you got to have something different. It can't just be the same old thing, because you're not going to make your mark.
I
think we were talking about this right before we started the podcast. You thought this would be the first debate, so I'm going to turn it over to you.
I think. Well, I was going to get dramatic there, but now that you've broken the fourth wall, I think this is going to be our first debate, because while I agree with your premise, I disagree with the statement that Toronto FC and soccer in Toronto is different. So I agree that if you're gonna follow, if you're not the first mover, you got to bring something different. And typically, the person who comes in second or third in a business or in an industry or in a segment or whatever, typically outperforms the front runner, because they have an opportunity to learn from the mistakes that the ones who were early to the game, let's keep the sport theme going, that were early to the game made. So while I agree with you, Mike, that TFC has learned from some of and I agree with you, man, baseball, hockey is boring. Basketball I enjoy, and that's why I want to make sure that you gave some love to the Raptors, because going to a basketball game is fun, but that, I think maybe that's by virtue of just it being a high scoring, up tempo sport by nature.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where I disagree with you, specifically about Toronto FC. And I'm saying this as a fan, as a day one season ticket holder. So I've had my season tickets for 10 years, as long as they've been in existence. They are not the model to follow. And I'll tell you why. They are not the model to follow. And I'll tell you why. So you're looking at it from a Toronto sports perspective. Right.
I'm looking at it from a person who's been in Toronto,
yes,
and has been to every franchise game.
Okay.
As a longtime Torontonian.
Okay.
So looking at it from that perspective, that's where I'm bringing it from.
So let's open it up a little.
Okay.
There is not one original thing about Toronto FC.
There's not a what? What was that?
There is not one original thing about Toronto FC. Everything.
Yeah.
Every chant, everything is from somewhere else. Usually England.
Okay.
With revised lyrics, because you can't sing to players that don't play for your team. But even to go so far as the recently uncovered by Iceland Viking Thunderclap, which if you haven't seen, is really cool when big Norse Vikings are doing it. Not so much when pasty Canadians are doing it. And so here, there's a perfect example, recent example of something that the fans of Toronto, and I don't want to discount their emotion and their passion for the team. All I'm saying is everything that they do, every chant, every concept, is from somewhere else, and so there isn't anything original about it.
That is true.
It's original in the context of it's never happened in Toronto sport.
Right.
But let's open this up to a global thing, because football is the global sport. Everything is from somewhere. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, because, the English Premier League has been around for over 100 years. The Italian league has been around for probably just as long. The Spanish league, about 80 years. Like, you can learn from these other entities, but then don't call it an original thing.
So it's not original, let's say, in the soccer world.
Yes.
But what differentiates the TFC from the rest of the major sports teams in Toronto is that, yes, they've taken from other places, but the experience is completely different than any other major sports team in Toronto.
Yes.
So they may have stolen a bunch of stuff from other places, but when you go to the TFC, it's a completely different experience than going to the Leafs. Like, unless the game is exciting or the Leafs are in the playoffs, it's a pretty boring experience. It is.
That was a good one.
The
Leafs in the playoffs. That was a good one. Yeah, that was a good one.
So when I was a kid, around probably my kid's age now, like 12 or 13, we had half-season tickets. And it was boring as shit. Like a February game, minus 32, we'd go out to the gardens, and it was boring. It was boring until they got into the playoffs. Fully relied on the product on the ice. So if the product on the ice sucked, then that 3 hours was like a complete drag. I've been to Raptors games. Again, a February game. It's like minus 200 outside here in Toronto, and the game's like boring, so we just leave.
Mm-hmm.
But every TFC game, I've been to like, 6 now? Everyone's like awesome. Doesn't matter if it's a 0-0 game or a 2-1 game. The fact that they allow a lot of fan participation. They've said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to steal from all these other things. We're going to have way more fan participation than any other sports team in Toronto. That brings something to me going to watch a game. And so my point here is, if you're going to do a 5-9, you can't just copy exactly what someone else is doing. You got to bring something. You got to differentiate yourself. And this is like the strata differentiation. You have to differentiate yourself from people in the market. And I think that's what they've done.
Right.
And being to my 4th game in the last 4 weekends, it's not like I wasn't looking forward to that. But if I would have gone to 4 straight Leaf games, I would have been like, oh my God, this game is going to suck. Even though I was going with a friend of mine. I was like, to get to that game.
Okay. So like I said, I agree with your premise. I disagree with it that Toronto FC is the model. But let's circle back, because that's just enabling us to have that discussion. I agree with you that if you are if you're launching a 5-9, or you've got a 5-9, there's got to be something different about you that doesn't exist anywhere else. Because that's your differentiation, right? That's how you're going to set yourself apart. To copy someone else, I mean, okay, but there's got to be something different about your business model. Then maybe you make it easier to deliver service, or maybe provide a different medium of service, a different channel. Maybe you enable there's got to be something different if the content is the same. Or maybe it's it comes down to how you deliver your business model.
You need to figure out how to not be lost in the noise of the market.
Correct.
So if you're going to be, I don't know, let's just pick anything. If you're going to be a life coach, you have to be able to differentiate yourself from, being a life coach is like there's 100 of them that just popped up because that's like the newest thing. What are you going to focus on? You're going to focus on business people, sports people, and what's going to differentiate you from all the other people.
Right.
Because remember, it's not your full-time job. So you got to maximize the time you have from when you finish your 9 to 5 in your 5 to 9. And maximizing that is how you're going to get what are the products you're going to build with that experience, and how are you going to get these customers that you're going to serve, because you have a limited window as opposed to people that are doing this as their regular job.
Correct. Yeah, and that's where you've got to figure out what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and exploit those strengths and mitigate those weaknesses. So I know for me, for example, my strengths are in content creation, are in course development, are in a little bit of writing, but not so much copywriting, but just, writing in plain language. That's what I do well, and that's what those are the opportunities that I try to pursue in my 5 to 9. Where I'm not so great is in the tactical sales piece. So when it comes to creating a product and getting it out there, I can do that. I can post it to my website, and we've talked about how I've taught myself WordPress and all that other stuff, but I can't sell it because you've got to have someone that has the time dedicated to sell. Me at this point, because I don't have that time, because I do have a 9 to 5. So that's where I'm willing to outsource sales or business development or whatever you want to call it to someone else on a commission type basis. You go get the sales, you go generate the leads, you go do whatever. Here's your percentage, and whatever that number is, and we can talk about that another day. But that's how I'm gonna advance myself, because I can't do the sales. I don't have that inherent ability right now, and I don't have the time to invest in doing it.
And so, should we talk a little bit about our 90-day challenge there, Vince? I think this is a good time to jump in.
That was how I was testing the waters, Mike. I was looking for your input there, so I'm glad. Let's talk about it.
So let's talk about when we say what makes you different. So Vince and I have been doing a 90-day challenge.
Yeah.
Where we've a product that we're going to now start beta testing. So the product involves a little bit of customer experience, a bit of Lean Six Sigma and Process Excellence. But if you go on the internet, there's like 1,000 of those things, right? It's not like it's not like it's like a brand new subject. We've also have a completely different slant to it, right? You have a little bit of the art and the science. So you got the science of what Vince does in his Lean Six Sigma Process Excellence world, and a little bit of the art that I do in customer experience and customer experience strategy and management. You put those together, and that's a completely different experience for people and for companies that are trying to advance their business strategy. So that's what I mean about, we maybe stole a bunch of stuff from different areas, but we bring the way we've packaged it together, we package together this beta and this product that we're coming together with. It's something that's completely different, just like the TFC experience. It's something that's not, the subject area is the same as everyone else, but the way we put it together is completely different than everybody else.
Yeah, and I think one of the coolest things we did, Mike, to toot our own horn, was we took the art of what you do with the customer innovation, the science of what I do in process innovation, and we actually built a bridge third module on strategy innovation. So once you know who your customers are, once you know how they need to be, where they need to be engaged, how they want to be engaged, what they're expecting from you, how can you develop a business strategy to give them what they want? And then that leads into the process piece. Okay, now you know what they want. What's the best way, most efficient way, cheapest way, most effective way to give them what they want? And so we've taken sort of our two disciplines and made a bridge using strategy, which is a common discipline for us, to say, okay, how are we gonna marry the customer with business process to not only raise your top line, sales, revenue, whatever, but also how do you reduce your bottom line, which is going to give you operational efficiencies and effectiveness, so that your revenue, your business can grow at a rate faster than you would have achieved otherwise. So it's kind of actually a very cool little package. As Mike said, we're about to launch our beta test model, which is visually not the greatest, but the content is what's important in the beta, and so we're gonna probably give that away at a steal of a price, probably like a 90% discount on what we. I think we're gonna give away a few free copies, aren't we?
We are.
We're gonna give away. I think
we're gonna give away free. We would like to some feedback on it. Your feedback is important, but yes, yeah. There'll be no dollars exchanged in the.
It is not a financial transaction, and so we were going to give away, I think 5 or 10 free copies to businesses from anywhere in the world. You just got to let us know, why you need it. Like how are you going to use it, and why do you need this product? And so we're going to give away probably 10 beta copies, and any on top of that will be, at a 90% discount. Or a lot of this we haven't talked about yet, but because it's still, we just finished the work. So
remember, this is something we brought up 90 days ago.
Yeah.
That we've been working, on top of everything else that we do. And when we started that journey, I thought, oh man, this is like a ton of work. But it's something that we've talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to do something, and let's say we just wrote, like, one day we just wrote 1,000 words, and 950 of those words were garbage, and we only kept 50.
Mm-hmm.
But that's 50 more words than you had before.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Vince and I both did, we're going to work on it every day. Some days we were all fired up and we banged out a lot of work, and those are the easy days. And those are the days that, hey, it's easy to work.
Yeah.
But those days where you're tired, it sucked at your 9 to 5. You had a lot of work to do when you came home. Those are the days that you want to do it, but those are the days that are actually more important to sit down and do something, because those are the days that remind you of why you're doing this. Because not every day is going to be fantastic. And even if you just did, again, 50 words, that's 50 more words than you would have had. Yep. And so it was a labor of love, absolutely. But remember, if you can chunk out your year in 90 days and just stick to that, look, we now have a product that is ready to, at least for beta. It may be not like huge launch, but it's a product that we didn't have, either of us had 90 days ago over the summer. So while everybody was like, sun in Mexico. I mean, I think we both did that. How many episodes did we have when you were in Spain?
We did one a week. We did 4.
Like 4?
Yeah, we did 4.
And so if you've ever worked when you're on vacation, You should always work. I think you should always work like that, like on the weekend.
It was the best.
I mean, if you've ever worked, when you ever worked if you're on vacation, you either stay up later when your family goes to bed and you bang some stuff out, or you get up early. You don't let it get in the way of your vacation, but you still get 2 or 3 hours in. And I think it's important that you do that on Saturday and Sunday on the weekend, because then at the end of 90 days, we basically have a full package ready to go. I mean, we're a little more anal, and we want to make sure it's perfect for our customers. So we're going to put out a beta, but these aren't things that we had 90 days ago.
Right.
So I think it's important to keep banging stuff out like that.
And I think back to
the 90-day challenge there, Vince.
What's that?
We're gonna have to go into another 90-day challenge because
we
have a product.
I'm gonna have to shorten mine. I'm gonna have to do a 60-day challenge. I've got some stuff coming up next year. So, but anyways, enough about that. But I to your point earlier about or just now about working when you're on vacation. I think it was was it Daniel Pink's book? What was that book again? Oh crap. I forget the name of where he talks about autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Oh, this is gonna kill me.
I know the book. I just don't remember.
Oh, I've got it on my phone. I took a picture of it because it was such a great book. But anyways, he tells a story towards the end where he talks about being in Jamaica on vacation and had trouble sleeping and got up and started sending out a couple emails and doing a little bit of work. And there was a Drive. It was called Drive. Thank you, photo that I took. So in Drive,
isn't this the Seth Rogen story?
No, this is Daniel Pink.
Okay.
No. So no, what was it? Seth Godin?
Dude, I think this is the Seth Godin story. This is Seth Godin.
Okay,
he was in Jamaica.
Yeah, okay. Then it was Jamaica. So, sorry, not Daniel Pink. Still a great book though. Where he's in Jamaica and a couple walks by, clearly just coming back for the night, and it's like, oh, is it Seth Godin? Damn.
Yeah, this is Seth Godin story.
I've been reading a lot lately, so they all sort of blur together. But it's like, this poor man has to work on his vacation.
Yeah, what a sucker.
No, yeah, what a sucker. No, like he was working because he wanted to.
Yeah.
The real suckers are the ones that need to go to Jamaica for 2 weeks to get away from their life, to get away from life. Yeah. But then at the end of that, they go back and they're just back into the machine. Whereas for Seth, that was his life. And so, to pull out your laptop and reply to a couple emails and write a little and post a blog post and whatever, like that is his life. But when he's done, he gets to enjoy the whole year, not just the 2 weeks or 3 weeks that you get each year. So, it's all about perspective. And so, working, and I've said this to you, Mike, and I think I've said it here before, working while I was away was the best because I worked when I wanted to. If I didn't want to, I didn't. But the fact of the matter is, when we were recording, it was like, hey, this is great. I get to record another episode of a podcast. It wasn't, I have to do. It wasn't an obligation.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what we're trying to create with this product is no more obligations for us. And as a byproduct, we get to make people and businesses better. I mean, what could be better than knowing exactly who your customers are, exactly how they want to be marketed to, exactly what kind of products they want, and then exactly how you're going to deliver those products from a quality and efficiency standpoint. Like, how are you going to do that? To me, this is a no-brainer for every business in the world. I'm somewhat biased, having created half of it, so I acknowledge that. But this is a unique product that I think every I would say small, like individual businesses, if you're a one-man gang, one-woman show, this is probably not for you because you're busy enough doing the work that you need to do. Would you agree, Mike?
Yeah, I agree.
But if you've got 10, 20 and more people, whether you're a small manufacturing shop or you're Ford or Honda or GM, whatever, you could benefit from this product. So there you go. But that's what we've been working on, and I think it's pretty cool, and you can probably expect to see something through our social medias and in the coming, I would say, days and weeks as opposed to weeks and months.
And remember, it's all about making yourself, differentiating yourself from people. This is how we started the podcast. So we're doing this as what we think is something completely different, a completely different experience. And that's what you need to tap into. What's that completely different experience that you're going to bring in your 5 to 9? That's going to bring you the customers that you're looking for and the customers that you can help and serve. That's what's important.
Yeah. Now, I was going to suggest maybe we end with the Viking thunderclap. You want to try one of those, Mike?
Jesus. The Viking thunderclap. Are we going to do that?
Hey. Okay. Never mind.
Oh, fantastic.
All right. So, as always, so keep an eye out for our new product coming out. We've titled it the Business Innovation Playbook System. Sort of a callback to the original name of this podcast, the Business Innovation Podcast. But it's the Business Innovation Playbook, which comprises a few different elements. There is the Customer Innovation Playbook, which Mike put together, the Strategy Innovation Playbook, which we are developing collaboratively, the Process Innovation you see the theme here? Process Innovation Playbook, which I did, which draws heavily on process improvement methodology, but is more simplified. So think of it as Lean Six Sigma without the statistical analysis. So it's very accessible. And the last piece is sort of another differentiator, which I don't know if we'll talk about because it's still in development, but it's more of an operational innovation playbook. So how do you optimize your operations so that you aren't just wasting things, but you can waste money and resources, but you're also giving your customers, meeting your customers' expectations. So that piece is in development as well, but that's a separate piece. So look out for that, the Business Innovation Playbook. And as always, you can reach us on the LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, email, our websites. It's all good. It's all good.
All right, for Sunday night, I think we're out.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, everybody, for listening, and Vince, I will see you not tomorrow, but Tuesday.
Nope, Wednesday.
All right, fantastic.
This is all critical stuff to our listeners, eh? What day we're gonna get to have coffee again? All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Have a good one.
Right. See you later.
Peace.